How you guys doing today? So same as always, I'm going to practice and let me know if you have any questions. I haven't played a lot today, so it's going to be more of a warm-up. I'm going to do a little bit of a different routine that I've been working on lately. I'm going to take some of the pressure away from my lips, because that's important, supposedly. If you guys ever work on James Stamp exercises, I kind of like those, the James Stamp book. I do those on and off. The audio stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended. We suggest 128. How do I change that? Let's go to more information. Because by golly, if my bitrate should be 128, so how do I change my bitrate? I don't know. By golly, let's do that. No, I don't want to delay. Additional settings. Bitrate. Let's see. I don't know how to change my bitrate. Let me see here. Mirror, stream settings. No. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Oh well. out the audio. I was having some audio issues earlier when I was doing this yesterday. Yeah. How do I fix that? There's gotta be a way. How to change bit rate on, what am I think I'm back now. I'm not sure. Oh well. How can I fix that? No data, stream's good. But how do I change the bit rate? Where do I change the bit rate at? No. Not that. Highlight, create, settings. Enable, allow embedding for tags. Yeah, not really. Live chat modes. Huh. Yeah, nothing. That's just for the live chat. I don't know. Oh well. 360-degree video. Do I want that? I don't think I can't do that. Show settings. Well, I'll just have to figure it out some other time. Or unless it's on here. Stream settings. If it's not here, stream setup. Yeah. Doesn't look like it. Oh well. Who's that? Caden Thomas. Hi! Oh, I'm not clicking on the right thing. I think this is hi. I gotta make that bigger. Hello, Caden. I'm not writing the right thing. There we go. There. Little higher go? It is. that? Bit rate. How do I change the bit rate? More information. The auto stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend 128 kilobytes per second. Okay. They recommend that many kilobytes per second. How? I'm going to try to change the settings here. How do I do that? I don't know. So I guess it's just going to be terrible. At least for this first segment. After I finish this warm-up, I'll come back and try it again. See what happens. Play quieter. See what difference it makes. But then it sounds like a harmony mute, which is about as awful as it gets. Let's see. Turn that down. Yeah, still nothing. La, da, da. I need help with range. I can't really play well below a low B. And also, I can only really reach a high C. For some people, this range is good, but I want more. That's good, Caden. It's good to want more. You see, range, well, I think about range a lot of different ways. Think about what note you're setting up on. So let's call range something different. Let's say range is how far away from your setup note you can play. So let's say you set up on a low C. When I say set up, I mean when you put the horn to your face and blow, what note comes out? For most people, that's like a low C or a G, and that's their setup note. So I'm going to try to find the middle of the screen. So let's say this is the middle of the screen. You're playing a C. Range is how far below and how far above that C you can play. Let's call it that. Let me change this. So you want to increase your range. That's great. So let's say you set up on a low C. So when you blow, which most people do, or most of the students I teach, let's say, are playing a low C. When you try to go higher than that C, it's work, right? So I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you see what I mean. When you set up on a low note, everything above that's going to be work and muscle and pressure. So we do a lot of things to increase our range. We do things like tongue arch, flexing the muscles in the right place, keeping your corners tight, blowing more air. What else do we do? Pinching our lips together, pushing the horn into our face harder. So with a given setup, like setting up on a low C, increasing your range, we do things like that to play higher. Hey, buddy. Where'd Mom go? She's not gone. She just went outside. I'll be right back. For high C, I mean the C above the staff. Yeah, I know. So, when I'm talking about range, I'm talking about playing above high C. So if you want to play above high C, let's say, or C on top of the staff is a lot of work, let me give you my recommendation. Hang on just a second though. I'll be right back. Debbie, come here. You got it? I'm answering a question right now. Charlie, come help. And don't let Kitty out. All right. So anyway, when you're playing a C above, when you're playing above high C, let's say, what was I talking about? So when I'm playing higher notes, I'll set up with a higher setting. So let me just give this as an example. If I set up on a low C, well, I should say somebody, because I can play higher on a low setup. Wherever you set up, how do I explain this? A higher setup is going to give you a higher range. The range is the same, but you're going to hit higher notes. So by setup, I mean putting your lips in the mouthpiece in a way that a higher note comes out with the same amount of effort. So if a low setting is usually like a large aperture, like a very large hole in your face that you're blowing your air through, the low notes come out easier. If you put more lip in your mouthpiece, and you can experiment with this. How do you play a higher note? Like the dumb, simple answer to playing a higher note. A smaller hole for the air to come out of, okay? So how can we make the smallest hole possible? Well, most people pinch their lips together as hard as they can to make the smallest hole possible. You know, and usually get sounds like that. Just to experiment with, you can have fun experimenting with it. Try a dry mouthpiece and a dry embouchure, and I'll explain in a second why. And put a lot of lip inside the mouthpiece. Not this way. Up and down. Put a lot of lip so that your lips are touching. Okay? Now, if your lips are touching and you blow, experiment with what note comes out. So the only effort that I'm exerting is blowing air past my lips. And it takes a little bit of extra force because my lips they're stuck together, right? So put a lot of lip in your mouthpiece. Dry lip, dry mouthpiece, for now. And push your mouthpiece towards your lips and blow. You're getting higher notes, right? Now, I'm not saying play like that. I'm just saying use that as an experiment to show you that you can set up on higher notes on the trumpet. And by set up, I mean blow air through the trumpet. C naturally came out. Like low C did. Yeah, exactly. So or do you mean middle C? Like if this comes out, well, even there, a G came out. So let me show you kind of different settings. A low C, my lips are pretty far apart. For a G, my lips are a little closer together. For a middle C, my lips are touching. For an E above that, I put more lip in the mouthpiece. And so let's say I use E as like a middle setup. I think I was watching, I can't remember who the heck I was watching, but he said that he set up on a G above the staff, which to me, I think that means you're setting your lips and your mouthpiece in a way that a G comes out when you blow. And you can play around with where that is. But if you play with that setting and you try a scale, all of a sudden a C above the staff isn't very difficult because you're already set up for it. But most people have difficulty with the high notes because they're set up for really low notes. Right? Your lips are apart and you're blowing out. So if I'm having to play like the high notes in a jazz band or something, which, but whatever, I'll set up a little higher. So now with that same setting, I'll play my scale. So I'll use that higher setting, and again, range is how far you can play below it and above it. If you use a really high setting, let's say, some people struggle with low notes because they have too high a setting. Let me try to use. So if I'm geared really high, look how much I have to tilt it just to play a low note. So again, range, I'll try to pick a medium note so that I have an even upper and lower register depending on the music I'm trying to play. If everything's above the staff, I'll set up a little higher. I'll give you an idea. So playing higher notes, it's not so hard on the lips, it's more on the blowing. You know, it takes more effort to blow the stuff. And you can get high enough, yeah, the lips are going to start working too. But I would just say play around with your initial setup. Now, I can play higher notes from a low setup, and that's another thing that you should practice. Start on a low note and try to use that lower setup to go higher, usually using muscle. Or and tongue arch and what else? Air speed, things like that. But I'm using a lot more muscle when I do that. You know what I mean? A lot more tongue arch. So I'm using more tricks to get the note out. Where if I just set up higher, I'm able to do it longer without wearing out so easily. What else would I say about range? Does that make sense? I think there's... What else would I say? I mean, there's a lot of things you can talk about, but that's kind of something I'm playing around with right now. It's just my setup. Because if you're setting up on a high note, higher notes are always going to be more work. Lower notes are going to be relaxing. So I try to set up in the middle so I can go above and below. So you can play around with that. It takes practice. So for most of my playing, I always set up on really low notes. Then everything above that, I would have to use a lot of muscle to get it out. But in my warm-up, I'll practice, depending on the kind of playing I have to do during the day, I'll practice with a higher setup and work on the low register tone. Because then the whole thing just, it's more effortless playing, you know, if you can play low notes with a high setting. Does that make sense? If you need any clarification, just ask. it can be tough to talk about these, you know, the way it feels when you play. So, oh, I got a text. This could be big. Okay. Thanks, Christian. All right, where was I? I really wish my audio stream didn't sound like crap. And I think even with this, it sounds terrible. Oh, well. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'm going to try fixing my stream audio. I'll be back. Let me just end this. I'll try to put this together a little better.